Good morning. Thank you for joining me today. I'm outside on the back porch sitting in my husband's hammock, and I've got a big copy of the book in front of me, and I've been editing this morning, trying to just make those last minute little changes. And so today I want to bring to you the verse for our week. It's Isaiah 26:3, and it says, "You keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you." And I just love this verse. Not sure when or where I came across it, but I know when I did that it just spoke to me, and it helped me to know that the way that we can get perfect peace is because we trust in him and we keep our mind on him. What a great reminder for our lives. Today, I want to do something fun. I thought it would be kind of fun if I read to you from the book. And I'm going to be reading to you from chapter 1. And this is all about the emergency surgery that we had in Honduras before we moved back to the States. And I just feel like I need to give you a little of the backstory before I get busy reading it. So here we go. In the month of May, we went home to the United States to visit with our family and friends and to do some speaking engagements. But we also were there because Sarah was graduating from high school, and Jordan was graduating from college, and Andrew was graduating from college. So we just wanted to be there to celebrate those big milestones in their lives. And we were there for about 3 weeks, and then we traveled back to Honduras and began that cultural shift again in our lives. And we got our first placement, a little tiny 4-month-old little one, and he came into our lives. We knew it was going to be a short-term placement. They were doing some screening of some family to be able to take him home, and so we had him for just a short little while. And then we received a long-term placement of a 6-month-old little girl and a 2-year-old little boy. And so they came in to live with us in our home. And it was during this time that we also had a pastor from Kingsland, Georgia, came to stay with us for a week and to help with the pastor training program there in Honduras. And then he left, and then we ended up getting having a week of preparation before our second team was coming in. And we were having board members come in with their husbands and wives. And it was just a big time for us, and it was a busy time for us. And that is where the part of the story where we're leading up to the emergency surgery. And that's where I'm going to start reading to you today. Around all of this hectic activity, I had not been feeling well for days, and had finally called Dr. Maria to see if she could stop by our home to check me out. We were fortunate enough to have made friends with Dr. Maria, who lived down the road from us in Gracias. She was a Honduran native who had lived in the States, and she spoke both English and Spanish beautifully. She practiced medicine at 2 different hospitals, but she chose not to have an actual office. Instead, she made house calls to a variety of people and organizations that worked with children and needed medical care. Our Leanne, who plans to be in the medical field, was able to volunteer for a week with her with a team of doctors and dentists who provided dental care and health care screenings earlier in the spring. Dr. Maria arrived at our house about 5 p.m. and took me into the bedroom to examine me. I told her that I had been losing weight but felt like my tummy was bloated. I shared with her about not being able to eat certain foods. I thought that I had developed a gluten intolerance. After we discussed my symptoms, she began a physical exam. And when her fingers reached the lower right side of my abdomen, it brought me right off the bed, and I cried out because the pain was so intense. She thought that I might have an appendicitis, that my appendix had ruptured and was causing this extra fluid. She called ahead to the private hospital in Santa Rosa, and I rushed into my bedroom quickly to pack a bag for the hospital. I called Ben to find out when they would be coming back to the house because the men were on their way home from Santa Rosa after getting supplies that couldn't be found in Gracias. Once the men returned to our house, Ben and I immediately got into the car for our 45-minute trip back through the mountains to get to the hospital. Everyone else remained to finish the task for the evening and to care for the children. As soon as we arrived at the hospital, the staff took us to the brand new emergency room. It was so new that they were literally hanging the curtain to separate my room as we entered. We were blessed with the fact that the doctor who examined me spoke some English, and after his examination, he agreed that an emergency appendectomy was needed. He called for the ultrasound machine, but we found out that it was broken. He told us that we would still need to do surgery and that the procedure would take around 40 to 50 minutes. He also told me that a blood donor with my blood type had been located if it became necessary during surgery. What? Wait, a live donor? Then we found out that they didn't have a blood ready in a blood bank. And as I started to let this sink in, I was very thankful for the live donor. It's funny how quickly our perspectives can change, isn't it? Live blood donor versus no blood bank. Live donor for the win. And that's where I want to leave us today. I want to leave you right there because I want you to be able to read what happens for yourself in the book and in our story. And I just wanted to let you know, though, that even though I was going through a surgery, it was a pretty big deal to be having an appendectomy in a third world country where the hospital's one ultrasound machine was broken and they really didn't know what was going on, so we were going in kind of blind, and there was no blood bank, and that was kind of news to me. I wasn't familiar with that concept of having a live blood donor, but I did have peace, and I did have that perfect peace, and it came because of Jesus, and because I had my trust in Him. And you too can have your trust in Him. You too can have perfect peace, and that all comes when you trust in God for everything. And I want to leave you right there this week. I'm hoping that you will have the perfect peace that I had, and that you will have a beautiful day today. And if you're not having a great day, if maybe life circumstances are going on around you and it's not a great day, I just want to remind you that you can still have that perfect peace because your mind is on Christ and you're trusting in Him. And I want to leave you right there. Hope you have a great day. I love you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.